3 in the morning. I'm standing at my kitchen window watching security footage on my phone. The timestamp says 11:47 p.m. 2 nights ago. There's my wife Laura having sex with my father in his office. On his desk, the same desk where he used to help me with homework. That's not even the worst part. After they're done, they don't just get dressed and leave. They sit down and pull out papers, bank statements, legal documents. They start making plans to destroy me. I've watched this 17 times now. Laura pointing at numbers on the statements. My father writing things down, taking notes about how they're going to frame me for stealing money from our family business. How they're going to make everyone think I'm crazy. My coffee's cold now, the whole neighborhood's asleep. Nice houses, nice lawns, everyone pretending their lives are fine. But mine isn't fine. Mine's over. Most people find out their wife's cheating and they lose it. They yell and throw stuff and hire lawyers. They fight over the house and the car and who gets custody. I didn't do any of that. I did what I always do. I made a plan. Step by step, the same way I build houses for a living. You start with a foundation. Then you frame it out, then you finish it. But this time I wasn't building a house. This time I was planning a funeral. 2 funerals. 3 weeks before I found that footage, we were all sitting around my father's dining room table. Sunday dinner, like we did every week for the past 5 years. Laura was laughing at something my father said, that fake laugh she does when she wants something. I should have known then. But you don't see what you don't want to see. My name's Daniel Harper. I'm 36. I own a small construction company here in Millbrook. Started it from nothing after I got out of college. My father, Robert, he's got money. Real estate investments, all that. Always reminded me how much more successful he was. Daniel's doing fine with his little business. He said that night, cutting his steak. Not everyone can think big like us Harpers. Us Harpers. Like I wasn't sitting right there. Laura squeezed my hand under the table. Don't listen to him, honey. You work so hard. But her phone was face down next to her plate. It kept lighting up, text after text. Sorry, she said, grabbing it. Book club emergency. Book club, right. My father poured himself more wine. You know, Daniel, maybe it's time you thought about expanding. I could help you get some bigger contracts. I'm good, I said. You sure Laura might want some nice things someday? Kids are expensive. Kids. We'd been trying for 2 years, nothing yet. Laura said it was stress. My stress. Always my fault somehow. We're fine, I said. But Laura was typing on her phone. Fast. Her cheeks were red. She looked excited. Everything okay? I asked. Just coordinating the charity drive, she said. Didn't even look up. My father smiled. Laura's always helping people. Your lucky son. Son. He only called me that when other people were around. After dinner, Laura went to the bathroom. Her phone stayed on the table. It buzzed. I shouldn't have looked, but I did. The message preview showed, "Can't wait to see you tomorrow, same place." R. Robert. My father was in the kitchen loading the dishwasher, whistling, like he always did when he was happy about something. I deleted the message preview from the lock screen. Laura came back, grabbed her phone, and we went home. She was quiet in the car, said she had a headache. That night she turned away from me in bed, said she was tired, too tired, like she'd been saying for months. I stared at the ceiling thinking about that text. Same place. They had a place. This wasn't new. How long had this been going on? How stupid was I? The next morning, Laura left early. Book club meeting, she said, kissing my cheek. Her lips felt cold. I called in sick to work. Followed her car instead. She drove to the Marriott downtown, parked in the back lot, took the elevator to the 4th floor. My father's car was already there. I sat in my truck for 3 hours. When they came out, they didn't leave together. Laura first, then my father 20 minutes later. Smart, like they'd done this before. A lot. That's when I started watching them. Really watching. Following Laura to her book clubs and charity meetings. Checking my father's schedule, seeing the pattern. Every Tuesday, every Friday, sometimes Sundays after our family dinners. They weren't just having an affair, they had a whole other life together. And I was paying for it. 2 weeks after I started following them, I found the real proof. Laura was at her book club again. Tuesday night, I knew where she really was. I went through her laptop while she was gone. She thought she was smart. Password protected everything. But Laura's not that smart. Her password was our wedding date. Same password for everything. I found the messages first. Hundreds of them, going back 8 months. Miss you already. Can't stop thinking about you. When can we be together for real? That last one was from my father. When can we be together for real? Like I was just some problem they had to solve. But the sex messages weren't the worst part. I found a folder labeled Legal. Inside were copies of bank statements, my business accounts, my personal accounts, statements I'd never seen before. Someone had been moving money around. Small amounts. 20,000 here, 15,000 there, making it look like I was stealing from my own company. There were fake receipts too, for gambling websites, for cash withdrawals I never made, for trips to Atlantic City I'd never taken. They were building a case against me. I kept digging, found emails between Laura and some lawyer I'd never heard of. They were discussing my substance abuse issues. What substance abuse issues? I drink a beer after work sometimes. The lawyer wrote back, "We'll need documentation of erratic behavior. Witnesses would help. Can you get him to lose his temper in front of people?" Laura's response, "Working on it. Robert thinks the family dinner next week would be perfect. Lots of witnesses." Next week. That was 4 days away. I found more files. Medical records that weren't mine, but had my name on them. Psychiatric evaluations, all fake, all saying I was unstable, dangerous, needed to be committed for evaluation. My hands were shaking now. This wasn't just about divorce. This was about destroying me completely. I kept reading, found the real plan in a message thread between Laura and my father. "Once Daniel's committed, I get power of attorney," Laura wrote. "Then we transfer everything to the offshore account." My father replied, "Perfect. The business, the house's savings, all of it. He'll have nothing when he gets out." If he gets out. If he gets out, they weren't just stealing my money, they were stealing my life, my freedom, everything. I found receipts for the security cameras my father had installed in his office last month. He said they were for insurance purposes. But now I knew the real reason. He wanted to record everything. Document his son's breakdown when they triggered it. The timeline was all there. They'd been planning this since before the affair even started. The affair was just part of it. Laura was supposed to push me over the edge, make me crazy with jealousy. Then they'd have witnesses to my mental breakdown. I found the psychiatric facility they'd already contacted, the doctors who'd already been paid to sign commitment papers, the legal forms that were already filled out. They just needed me to crack. Publicly, violently. Then I'd disappear. There was one more file. A message from Laura to my father from just yesterday. "Daniel's been acting weird lately, following me. I think he suspects something. Should we move up the timeline?" My father's reply, "No, Sunday dinner's perfect. His cousin Mike will be there, your sister Jenny, plenty of witnesses. Just make sure you trigger him good, really get under his skin. What if he doesn't break? He will. I know my son. He's weak, just like his mother. Just like his mother. My mother didn't abandon us. She was driven away, just like they were planning to drive me away. I closed the laptop, sat there in the dark. They thought I was weak. They thought I'd break. They were wrong. I wasn't going to break. I was going to break them. I spent the next 2 days digging deeper, following them, listening, learning everything. Thursday morning, I parked outside the coffee shop where Laura meets her sister Jenny. I bought a voice recorder online, stuck it under their usual table the night before. Jenny was in on it. "Are you sure this will work?" Jenny asked. "Daniel's not stupid." "He doesn't have to be stupid," Laura said. "Just emotional, and Daniel gets emotional about family, about loyalty. Robert's going to say something about his mother. That always sets him off. What if he doesn't take the bait? He will. I've been pushing his buttons for months. The trying for kids thing, the money stress. He's barely holding it together already. They had been planning this for months, making me stressed, making me desperate, setting me up to fail. Laura kept talking. Plus, I've been putting his antidepressants in his coffee, just small amounts. Makes him more irritable, more likely to snap. Antidepressants in my coffee. That's why I'd been feeling weird lately. Angry for no reason, tired all the time. Jenny laughed. "You're evil. I love it. Robert's idea. He knows all about Daniel's triggers. Grew up with him. My own father, teaching my wife how to break me." That afternoon, I followed my father to his lawyer's office, same building where Laura had been meeting with her divorce attorney. I waited in the parking garage and followed him to the elevator. "Excuse me," I said. "Aren't you Robert Harper?" He turned around, smiled. "Yes. Do we know each other?" "My name's Mike Chen. I'm a private investigator. Your son Daniel hired me to look into some financial discrepancies in your business." His face went white. "What discrepancies?" "Money being moved around, fake documents. Someone's been very busy." I handed him a fake business card. "Daniel wanted me to let you know he's filing a report with the FBI tomorrow." He grabbed my arm. "Wait, let's talk about this." "Nothing to talk about. Daniel has all the evidence he needs." I walked away, left him standing there. Within an hour, my phone was ringing. My father. "Daniel, we need to talk. Family emergency." "What's wrong? Just come over now." I went, pretended I didn't know anything. My father was pacing in his office. Laura was there too. Both looked scared. "Son, I need to ask you something. Have you hired any investigators? Anyone looking into our business?" "No. Why would I do that?" They looked at each other. Relief. "Someone came to see me today, said you were investigating financial problems in our company." I acted confused. "What problems? Is everything okay?" "Everything's fine," Laura said quickly. "Just some crazy person making stuff up." But I could see them thinking, wondering if I knew something, if their plan was falling apart. That night I hid in the bushes outside my father's house, listened through his office window. "We need to move faster," Laura said. "What if he really is investigating? He's not. I know Daniel. He's too trusting, too weak." The PI had details, Robert, real details about the money transfers. "So, what will be done by Sunday anyway? Once he's committed, it won't matter what he knows. And if the commitment doesn't work..." My father was quiet for a long time. "Then we go to Plan B." "What's Plan B? Let me worry about that." Plan B? They had a backup plan, something worse than having me committed. I went home that night and started making my own plans, real plans. They thought they knew me. Thought I was weak like my mother. Thought I'd just disappear quietly when they destroyed me. But they forgot something important. I build things for a living. I know how to tear them down, too, and I knew exactly where to start. Friday morning, 2 days before the Sunday dinner trap. I had to act normal, go to work, pretend everything was fine. But every conversation felt like walking through a minefield. Laura made me coffee like always. I watched her pour it, watched her face. She smiled and kissed my cheek. "Have a good day, honey." I poured the coffee down the sink after she left, made my own. At work, I couldn't focus. My crew kept asking if I was okay. "You look tired, boss." Everything good at home, everything was not good at home. I left work early, told them I had errands to run. Instead, I drove to my father's neighborhood, parked down the street, watched his house. Laura's car was already there. I called my father's landline from a payphone. Disguised my voice. "Harper Residence." "Is this Robert Harper?" "Yes. Who's this?" "This is Detective Williams with Millbrook Police. We've received a report about financial fraud involving your business. We need to speak with you and your son Daniel." Silence. "Sir, are you there?" "Yes. When do you want to meet?" "Monday morning, 9 a.m. downtown station." I hung up. Through my binoculars, I watched my father's house. Within minutes, Laura's car backed out of the driveway. Fast. She was panicking. My phone rang. "Laura, hey baby, where are you?" "Work site. Why, just wanted to hear your voice. Love you." "Love you too." But her voice was shaking. That night at dinner, Laura was different. Jumpy. She kept staring at me like she was trying to figure something out. "How was work?" she asked. "Good. Normal day." "Anyone call the house?" "No." "Should they have?" "Just wondering." She pushed food around her plate. Barely ate anything. "You okay?" I asked. "Just tired. Work's been stressful." Work. She didn't have a job. Saturday was worse. Laura followed me everywhere. To Home Depot, to the gas station. Said she wanted to spend time together, but really, she was watching me. Looking for signs that I knew something. My father called 3 times. "Just checking in, son. How's everything? Looking forward to tomorrow's dinner." Each call felt like a test. That afternoon, I went to Laura's laptop again while she was in the shower. New messages, panic messages. Someone called Robert, pretending to be a cop. Laura wrote to Jenny. What if Daniel really did hire someone? Jenny replied, "You're being paranoid. Stick to the plan." But what if we're wrong about him? Robert says Daniel's too weak to fight back. Trust him. Too weak to fight back. I moved one of my father's desk photos slightly to the left. Just enough that he'd notice. Left a pen in a different spot. Small things. Things that would make him wonder if someone had been in his office. That night, Laura pretended to sleep, but I could feel her watching me in the dark. Testing me. "Daniel, yeah? Do you ever think about what would happen if one of us died?" Strange question. "Not really. Why, just wondering. Life insurance and stuff, making sure we'd both be okay." Life insurance. Was that part of their plan too? "We'd be fine," I said. "Good. I worry sometimes." She rolled over, but I could tell she wasn't sleeping. Neither was I. Sunday morning, the day of the trap. Laura made breakfast, pancakes, my favorite. Like she was trying to butter me up before they destroyed me. "You excited about dinner tonight?" she asked. "Everyone's going to be there." Everyone. All the witnesses they needed. "Sure," I said. "Should be fun." She smiled, but her eyes were cold. "It's going to be a night to remember." She was right about that, but not the way she thought. Sunday dinner, 6 o'clock. Everyone was there just like they planned. My cousin Mike, Laura's sister Jenny, my father's business partner Tom. All the witnesses they needed to see me lose it. Laura wore her blue dress, the one I bought her for our anniversary. She looked beautiful, like always. My father carved the roast beef. Daniel, you look tired. Everything okay? I'm fine. You sure you've seemed stressed lately? Here we go. Jenny jumped in right on cue. Laura mentioned you've been having money troubles. Did she? Laura shot Jenny a look. Too obvious. Just normal business stuff, Laura said quickly. Nothing serious. Good, my father said, because I've been thinking. Maybe it's time you sold the construction company. Cut your losses. Cut my losses? Let's be honest, Daniel. You're not built for business. Never were, just like your mother. There it was. The trigger they'd been planning to use. Everyone went quiet, waiting for me to explode. Instead, I smiled. You're right, I said. I'm exactly like my mother. My father looked confused. That wasn't the reaction he expected. I reached into my jacket pocket, pulled out a manila envelope, set it on the table next to the mashed potatoes. What's that? Laura asked. Pictures? I opened the envelope, spread out photos across the dinner table. Photos of Laura and my father at the Marriott, in his office, in his car, 8 months' worth of photos. Jenny gasped. Mike's mouth fell open. Tom just stared. Laura grabbed the photos. Where did you get these? Private investigator. Same one who's been tracking your bank accounts. My father's face went red. Daniel, we need to talk. Privately. No, we're done talking privately. Let's talk in front of everyone. I pulled out more papers. Bank statements, the fake gambling receipts, the medical records with my forged signature. You want to know what's really interesting, these fake gambling debts you created? They're not just fake, they're stupid fake. The dates don't match, the amounts are wrong, you got sloppy. Laura was shaking now. Daniel, let me explain. Explain how you've been drugging my coffee with antidepressants, how you were planning to have me committed next week, how you already picked out the psychiatric hospital. Tom looked at my father. Robert, what is he talking about? I'm talking about conspiracy to commit fraud, identity theft, attempted kidnapping. That's what forced commitment is, kidnapping. My father stood up. That's enough. No, it's not enough. You want to hear the best part I know about Plan B. Everyone looked confused except Laura and my father. Plan B? I said louder. What you were going to do if the commitment didn't work. My father's hands were shaking. I don't know what you're talking about. Tommy Castellano, ring any bells. The loan shark you owe money to, the one you've been hiding from for 2 years. His face went white. Turns out Tommy's very interested in knowing where you are. Very interested in the $300,000 you borrowed and never paid back. How do you? I called him. Yesterday, told him exactly where to find you. Jenny started crying. Mike got up from the table. Tom was already heading for the door. You all want to know the truth about my father, I said. He's broke, has been for years. The fancy house mortgage 3 times, the business failing, he needs my money to pay off dangerous people. Laura tried to grab my arm. Daniel, stop. I pulled away. And my loving wife here, she's not just cheating. She's 3 months pregnant, with his baby. The room went dead silent. That's right, my father got my wife pregnant, and they were going to take everything I own to raise their kid. I stood up, put my jacket back on. Dinner's over. I walked to the door, turned around. Oh, and Dad Tommy's coming tonight, around 9. I'd be gone by then if I were you. I left them sitting there, all of them. 20 minutes later, my phone started ringing. Laura, my father, over and over. I turned it off. Let the games begin. Monday morning. I didn't go to work. Instead, I sat in my truck across from my father's house and watched. Laura's car was there. They were probably inside panicking, making new plans, trying to figure out how to fix this. They couldn't fix this. At 9 a.m., a black SUV pulled up. Tommy Castellano got out. Big guy, expensive suit, 2 other guys with him. I drove away, didn't need to see what happened next, but I heard the screams from 3 blocks away. By noon, the story was all over town. Robert Harper's house broken into, furniture destroyed, windows smashed. Police found Robert at the hospital with 2 broken ribs and a concussion. Laura wasn't hurt. Tommy's not stupid. You don't touch a pregnant woman. But she got the message. Tuesday, I started phase 2. I'd made copies of everything, every message, every photo, every fake document they'd created. I mailed them to everyone who mattered. Laura's boss at the charity where she volunteered. My father's business clients, their neighbors, their friends from church. Jenny's husband, who didn't know his wife was helping them. By Wednesday morning, Laura's charity fired her, said they were investigating financial irregularities. Funny how that works. My father's biggest client canceled their contract. Something about trust issues. The church asked them not to come back. Jenny's husband filed for divorce. But I wasn't done. Wednesday night I broke into my father's office. Not really broke in. I still had keys from when I helped him set up his security system. The same system he'd planned to use against me. I downloaded everything from his computer. 20 years of tax fraud, bribery, money laundering, real crimes, not the fake ones he'd tried to pin on me. Thursday morning, I drove to the FBI field office in Albany, handed over 3 boxes of evidence. This is about financial crimes involving Robert Harper, I told the agent. His construction company has been washing money for organized crime figures for years. The agent looked through the files. How did you get this? I work for him. Worked for him. I've been documenting everything. Why come forward now? Because they tried to frame me for their crimes, and I'm done protecting family. The agent nodded. We'll look into this. Friday afternoon, FBI agents raided my father's house, his office, his bank. They froze all his accounts, seized his assets. Laura called me crying. Daniel, please, we need to talk. Nothing to talk about. He forced me to do it. I never wanted to hurt you. You drugged my coffee for months. You stole my money. You're carrying his baby. Which part did he force you to do? She hung up. Saturday, I started the psychological part, the fun part. I hired 3 different private investigators. Had them follow Laura everywhere, not to hurt her, just to be seen, to let her know she was being watched. Every time she went to the store, someone was following her. Every time she went to the doctor, someone was taking pictures. Every time she came home, someone was sitting in a car across the street. She called the police. They said, following someone isn't illegal unless they threaten you. No threats, just constant watching. I sent flowers to her hotel room. She'd moved out of our house after the FBI raid. The flowers came with a card, thinking of you, always watching. A friend. She changed hotels. I sent flowers there too. I hired a food delivery service to send meals to her room every hour. Chinese food, pizza, burgers, all day long. She'd call to cancel and they'd say the order was already paid for. The hotel manager complained. She had to move again. I subscribed her to magazines. Hundreds of them. Pregnancy magazines, child care magazines, single mother magazines. They all went to her work address. Her new job fired her. Said she was causing disruptions. By the second week, Laura looked like she'd aged 10 years. Dark circles under her eyes. Jumping at every sound. Looking over her shoulder constantly. She called me again. "What do you want?" "Nothing. I already got it." "Got what? Justice? This isn't justice. This is torture." "No, Laura. Torture is finding out your wife and father are planning to destroy your life. This is just consequences." I hung up. Meanwhile, my father was having his own problems. Tommy Castellano wasn't done with him. Someone spray-painted "thief" on his car. Someone put sugar in his gas tank. Someone called his landlord and said he was running drugs out of his apartment. He had to move 3 times in 2 weeks. The FBI case was moving forward. They'd found connections to money laundering operations in 3 states. My father was looking at serious prison time, but the best part was watching them turn on each other. Laura blamed my father for getting her involved. My father blamed Laura for being too obvious. They both blamed me for ruining their perfect plan. Phone records showed they'd stopped talking to each other. Laura moved back home with her parents. My father moved in with his brother in Buffalo. 3 weeks after the Sunday dinner, I got the call I'd been waiting for. "Daniel, this is Detective Morrison with Millbrook Police. We need to talk to you about Robert Harper." "What about him?" "He's dead." I acted surprised. "Dead? How?" "Car accident. Lost control on Highway 9. Went off the bridge into the river." "That's terrible. Thing is, there were no skid marks, no signs he tried to stop." "What are you saying?" "We're saying it might not have been an accident. We're going to need you to come in for questioning." "Of course, whatever you need." But I wasn't worried. I had alibis for everywhere I'd been. Witnesses who'd seen me at work. Receipts showing I was nowhere near Highway 9. The truth was, I didn't kill my father. Tommy Castellano did. Or maybe my father really did lose control of his car. Maybe the stress finally got to him. Maybe he couldn't live with what he'd done. Maybe it was an accident. Or maybe it wasn't. Either way, he was gone, and Laura was alone. The funeral was small. 6 people showed up. Laura was there sitting in the front row, 7 months pregnant now, wearing black, crying real tears this time. I sat in the back, played The Grieving Son. People came up to me after the service. "I'm so sorry for your loss, Daniel. Your father was a good man. You're handling this so well." I thanked them all, shook their hands, let them hug me. Laura tried to talk to me afterward. "Daniel, please, we need to figure this out." "Figure what out?" "The baby, the house, everything. The house is mine now. Dad left everything to me in his will. The real will, not the fake one you two made." Her face went white. "What fake, Will?" "The one where he left everything to you. FBI found that too. Another felony charge if you weren't already facing 20 years. She started crying again. "I can't go to prison, not with the baby. Should have thought about that before you tried to destroy me." I walked away, left her standing there in the cemetery. 2 weeks later, Laura had a breakdown. Complete breakdown. Found her in the grocery store parking lot screaming at people who weren't there. Talking to my dead father, begging him to help her. The cops took her to the hospital. Psychiatric hold. Her parents called me. "Daniel, she's asking for you. She says you're the only one who can help her." "I can't help her. Please, she's carrying your stepbrother or stepsister, family." "That's not my family." Laura spent 3 weeks in the psychiatric ward. When she got out, she looked like a ghost. Skinny except for her belly. Hair falling out, eyes dead. She moved back in with her parents. Stopped going outside, stopped talking to people. The baby was born 2 months later, a boy. They named him Robert. Laura never recovered, never got better, never stopped looking over her shoulder. I heard she moved to Florida with the baby, changed her name, trying to disappear. Good. As for me, I inherited everything. The house, the business accounts that weren't frozen, the life insurance money. I was rich now, set for life. Everyone in town felt sorry for me. Poor Daniel Harper. Lost his father in a tragic accident. Wife abandoned him after a mental breakdown. Such a strong man, such a survivor. They had no idea what I'd really survived or what I'd become. 6 months later, I was living in my father's house. Seemed wrong to sell it. Too many memories. Good and bad. I'd cleaned out his office, thrown away most of his stuff, but I kept the security cameras. Couldn't bring myself to disconnect them. Sometimes I'd watch old footage, Laura and him together, seeing things I'd missed the first time. That's when I found it. A different angle. A camera I didn't know existed. Hidden in the bookshelf behind his desk. This footage was from 9 months ago, before the affair started. Before any of it started. My father was sitting at his desk, but he wasn't alone. There was a woman with him. Back turned to the camera. Long dark hair, expensive clothes. They were looking at papers, documents, photos. Photos of me. The woman handed my father a thick envelope. He opened it. Cash. A lot of cash. Then she turned around. My breath stopped. It was my mother. My mother who'd abandoned us when I was 12. My mother who'd been gone for 24 years. My mother who I thought was dead. She was alive. And she was paying my father. The audio was clear. You understand what you need to do, Robert. I understand, but he's my son. He's my son, too. And he deserves to know the truth about what you did to me. After all these years, why now? Because now I have the resources. Now I can make you pay. And Laura's perfect, greedy, desperate. She'll do exactly what we need her to do. My father leaned back in his chair. You want me to destroy my own son? You destroyed me 24 years ago. You stole my inheritance. You had me committed. You erased me from Daniel's life. Now he's going to watch you lose everything the same way I did. And if he figures it out, he won't. He's too angry, too hurt. He'll think it's all about the affair. He'll never see the bigger picture. My mother smiled, cold, calculating. By the time this is over, you'll be dead. Laura will be destroyed. And Daniel will have done it all himself. He'll think he won. But really, he's just been doing my work for me. She stood up, walked toward the camera. Oh, and Robert, when this is over, when Daniel inherits everything you stole from me, I'll be back to collect what's mine. The footage ended. I sat there staring at the blank screen. Everything I'd done, everything I'd planned, everything I'd destroyed. It wasn't my idea, it was hers. My mother had orchestrated the whole thing, the affair, the conspiracy, Laura's betrayal, my father's death. All of it. She'd used me to get revenge on my father for something that happened before I was even born. I was just a weapon, a tool. And now she was coming back. I heard footsteps on the front porch, slow, confident, like someone who belonged here. A key turned in the lock, the same lock I'd changed 6 times in the past month. But somehow, she still had a key. The door opened. Footsteps in the hallway, getting closer. I turned around. There she was, 24 years older, but still beautiful, still cold, still my mother. Hello, Daniel. Mom. You did good work, better than I expected. You used me. I gave you justice. You wanted them destroyed. I showed you how. You made me into a killer. You made yourself into a killer. I just gave you the opportunity. She walked to my father's desk, sat down in his chair. Now, we need to talk about what happens next. What happens next? This house, the business, the money. It was all stolen from me, and now I want it back. I stared at her. And if I say no, she smiled. That same cold smile from the security footage. Then, I'll have to use the evidence I have of what you really did to your father. What evidence? The evidence that shows his car accident wasn't an accident. The evidence that shows you sabotaged his brakes. The evidence that shows you committed murder. My heart stopped. I didn't touch his car. The evidence says you did. Very convincing evidence. Timestamps, photos, witnesses who saw you at the garage. That's impossible. Nothing's impossible, Daniel. You should know that by now. She opened the desk drawer, pulled out a thick folder. So, do we do this the easy way, or do I have to destroy you the same way you destroyed them? I looked at the folder, at her, at the house that wasn't really mine, at the life I thought I'd won. I thought I was the hunter, I said. You were wrong. Outside, thunder started rumbling. Storm coming in. My mother was right. I was never the hunter. I was always the prey.